adventure is really relative to the person. It's not about the miles. My name is Jake Beatty, and depending on the day, I'm either the executive director of the Northwest Maritime Center or the co-creator of the Race to Alaska. The Race to Alaska is an engineless, self-supported 750-mile boat race from Port Townsend, Washington to Ketchikan with basically 2 rules. Don't have an engine and don't get help. That's pre-planned. And the first place prize is $10,000, and second place prize is a set of steak knives, and there's no other prizes. I like old movies, and there's this old movie called Glengarry Glen Ross. So a young Alec Baldwin comes in to rile up all the sales associates and get them to sell more during a sales contest for the month. First prize was a Cadillac, second prize was a set of steak knives, third prize was they were fired. So we're not that harsh, but we just thought it was funny. In 2013, I was 3 beers into the beer tent at the Wooden Boat Festival in Port Townsend, Washington. And a group of us were sitting around thinking about how to get more people excited about being on the water in sort of simple ways, in ways that were more about the experience of being on the water than about how many millions of dollars you could pour into an America's Cup boat. And honestly, I just hated all the other ideas, and so in frustration, I said, I don't know, let's nail $10,000 to a tree in Alaska and see if anyone, see who gets it first. And everyone looked at me like I was nuts, but the idea kind of stuck, and here we are 8 years later, and it seems like people are stuck on it too, but in a good way. Port Townsend is where the Northwest Maritime Center, which is the parent organization of the Race to Alaska, is. And it's kind of a natural jumping off point for the Inside Passage. Victoria was the second city because it's just across the Strait of Juan de Fuca. And what we didn't want was clearing customs to be part of the race, because that is a slow and annoying thing, right? We're trying to strip everything away other than just being on the water. So it also is convenient in that we created this kind of pre-race. We call it the Proving Grounds, which allows really teams to test themselves in their boats over 30 miles of open ocean. Not open ocean, but good enough. And then, if you want to go to Alaska, you definitely are going to Ketchikan, right? That's the first bit of Alaska. And when there was, I think it was cemented because of the incredible warm welcome we've had from the people of Ketchikan have really not just welcomed us, but sought us out in the beginning. There's this story, we had just announced the Race to Alaska, and Chuck Slagle, who owns the Fish House, happened to be in Port Townsend, happened to be at the Northwest Maritime Center, learned about the Race to Alaska, and then talked his way into my office. So I walked in and there was this guy sitting on my couch, and we just started talking, and he's been donating services and hosting parties for the Race to Alaska ever since, and it's just things like that, things like our long tradition of our long history of being in partnership with the Ketchikan Yacht Club, all the other businesses in town, the Chamber of Commerce, everyone's just been so great and welcoming that whether we lucked into it or not, we couldn't have designed it better. It always feels like I'm coming to my second hometown. I love that the Race to Alaska brings out people's grit. I love that it gets people to explore this amazing coastline between here and the lower 48. I love that there's this community of people that come around it, both in the race, where you're mixing these really competitive Olympic level sailors with, this year we have 16-year-olds on their own team, and we have people in home-built boats, and they're all part of the same family who wouldn't get a chance to mingle and share the same experience in any other way. And then you have the next concentric circle out of the people of Ketchikan and the people of Port Townsend, Victoria, everyone in between, and all over the world who are rooting these people on and sort of living vicariously. I mean, really one of the goals was to see how many people we could get to do adventure, because there's so rich growth for people that can happen in adventure. When you get humbled and inspired at the same moment by just having your ass handed to you by Mother Nature over and over and over again. Like I wish everyone can go through that experience of being elated and humbled at the same moment. But then the other one is like, how many people can we inspire to do their version of adventure? Like to get off the couch and do, maybe not go to Alaska, but maybe go to Pennock or whatever it is, right? Like whatever pushes their limits, because adventure is really relative to the person. It's not about the miles.
How can like human-powered vessels and wind-powered vessels be like? How is that fair?
Oh, it's not fair that wind power and human power. Like there's no comparison. Like in the first year, we were pretty dumb because we thought, who knows who could win? It's never been done before. But the truth is like even if on a really flat, calm day, a human-powered boat is going to make maybe 60 miles, and if they're amazing, if they're like truly elite athletes. Versus like 3 times that if you're a sailboat. So even if you have 3 flat, calm days, the sailboat's gonna catch up on a good day. So like, it's not like a life hack, but like fast things finish faster is pretty an obvious lesson that we're like, oh, clearly. But we didn't change it because there's something beautiful about the simplicity of not having classes or handicaps or math calculations, both because we're bad at math and because like most people who run a marathon aren't trying to win, right? There's gonna be some Nigerian with no shoes who always wins the Boston Marathon, and everyone else is just doing it for a great experience. So there is no less adulations that we give to the last finisher of the Race to Alaska than we do the first one. It's just $10,000. And honestly, the winners spend way more than $10,000 to win. So like smart money, if you're gonna invest in the Race to Alaska, go with the kayak.
Is that allowed? Yeah, totally allowed. They already finished. They technically finished. Now we gotta ring the bell to finish, okay? Who's in charge here? Well, that makes me feel better. All right. Thanks, man. I'll go more forward. You guys get there. Let's go forward. Back down 10 feet. It's been incredible. Thank you guys for putting this on. Thanks for winning. Not official when you ring the bell and drink a beer. Yeah. Okay. Big beer. We're gonna ring it together. All 3 of us. Here we go. Good for it. All right, guys. Put your hand on the bell. Okay. Ready? Final finish. What are you gonna do next? Have a beer. We got the small ones.
Get it.
Jordan.
All right.
Well done, man.
Awesome.
A little out of practice.
All right. Thanks to everyone for coming out.
Cheers, guys. Thank you, Air Pulse, for all your support. about our philosophy.
Which one? Drinking beer at the finish is always a good thing. I expressed my love for this race on the last final mile here and asked these guys just to continue what I've been doing since I won in 19 of just telling the story and the journey to get here and seeing how awesome it is from start to finish, because it's not an easy feat what everybody else behind us is doing, and we really applaud everybody that's still out there, and we hope they get here safe and have a cold beer just like this.
Exactly.
And are able to celebrate and the adventure to get here, because it's, for me, it's very special. Ketchikan is kind of a cool remote place where not too many people get to come, and the journey to sail here is also a great one because very few people get to set eyes on the land and the scenery that we get to see along the way, and I think that's a big part of the adventure for all of us.
I think what we also said is that it's so much more like than just like a race for us, like just like the whole journey of being like together and being like a team and doing the things that we did. That was like just as valuable as like winning like the race, or being like a part of the race. So.
Right on. We also want to take this opportunity to thank all of the people that helped us get to this point. Tearing up a little bit. But especially our families who supported us in all our preparations and said it was okay to do this crazy thing.
Our team mechanic.
Yeah, and I want to especially, Eric, can you come up?
Come on, Eric.
Come on, Eric.
Our chief engineer and project manager, Eric Christen.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
See, still got the wheel.
Survived.
Yeah, made it.
You sound skeptical.
I am.
Eric Christen's amazing contraption, and it totally worked. Got us out of there, and it did its job. And we used it for a little while on that third morning when it was just no wind. So we just hung for a little while, stay warm, create a little bit of apparent wind, and it worked great.
Tell us about the outside.
The outside was amazing. Yeah, I mean, the first part was light air against the current, so just like getting out of Victoria, just getting around Race Rocks was a real
I felt
challenge.
like we were going the wrong way.
5 knots of current against, and like the whole first part, you could tell, to see the people on the inside were just smoking. I think at one point we'd gone 6 miles, and the lead rowers had gone 22 miles, so, we were definitely way behind at the beginning.
Okay, great. I haven't seen it yet.
But then we got some breeze, started, it was light air upwind out the Straits of Juan de Fuca, light air first night, and then that second day the breeze kind of kicked in, medium, and then just built and built, and so by the time we were up by Brooks Peninsula, it was 25 knots and giant waves, just like you expect, and it was all on, definitely, and that's the time when you're like, okay, we just need to get through this, because you knew it wasn't going to last forever, but there was some tough hours there for sure. And we had another really tough time last night. It was out in the Heck Strait, and again, started out nice, downwind, spinnaker, oh, this is great. Winds increasing, waves are getting bigger, it gets dark, and then, a few hours later, it was all on. And so we ripped the spinnaker trying to take it down. Matt got a little too excited and didn't put his hands through the sail, but it
happened. Cowboy Matt.
And so we just sailed downwind, main only for a little while, and just like, okay, we gotta just get through this, And then in the morning, got a little bit lighter, put the spinnaker back up, and had a nice sail into here.
Got any advice for people who are thinking about doing the next race?
Yeah, do it. I mean, do it and be prepared, and it's the range of conditions that you experience out there is, it's extreme, so you need to be ready, and you just have to have that spirit that you're gonna get through it, so the combination of grit and preparation, I think, is what is necessary to finish this race. And a little bit of luck. We were lucky we didn't hit anything real bad. We did hit a log last night at pretty high speed. Made a pretty loud noise, and there's a little ding in the bow. But I think that's maybe the difference between a monohull and a trimaran. That's the trimaran and hit that same log, it might have been game over for them. Whereas for us, we can sail away from it. So it was cool. We were sad to see that some of our top competitors, some of the bigger multi-hulls, weren't able to to get through, because we were really looking forward to a good race against them. But I think it was a stroke of genius to open up the outside. I think for the next edition, you're going to see that more boats will do it, and people will embrace that aspect of the race even more.
Was it weird racing against someone who's like totally on another side of a mountain range?
Yeah, it was weird, but I think, like Alyosha said, you're mostly just racing against yourself. You see where the others are, but you know that your job is just to keep the boat going fast, safely, and fast towards the finish. And so that's kind of what we focused on.
Congratulations!
Okay, thank you guys.
Whether it's obvious or not, we do say no to teams that apply once in a while, and sometimes often for the same people. Vessels apply, teams apply, and there's this vetting committee that judges them on their experience and their vessel, and honestly, whether we believe they'll know when to quit. Because it's really easy, I don't know if it's easy, it's easier to be foolish and keep going when you shouldn't. And really the skill of any great adventure is knowing when to throw the towel in and exit with grace and glory. And that is sort of that X factor that we look for when we're evaluating teams. There are incredible people that do this race, from like Olympians to like the guy next door you didn't know was super hardcore ultra triathlete. And like the one example that everyone like universally drops a jaw is the story of Carl Kruger, who self-supported himself to Ketchikan on a paddleboard in 14 days and change, which is really fast, and faster than a lot of cruising sailboats do it, and actually faster than like 13 teams that year's Race to Alaska who had boats. He, number one, is just this sort of zen individual and an incredible athlete, but it went to extreme lengths to like reduce weight and make himself survivable so he could just become one with his kayak and do things that other boats couldn't do. Like when it was blowing a tailwind gale in Johnstone Strait, it was blowing 50, he just surfed for the entire length of Johnstone Strait in the dark because he's that good, and that's what you can do on a paddleboard. What you can't do is bring a lot of weight. So instead of food, he had these food replacement pellets that he would put in his mouth every 20 minutes or so. He'd sleep in a bivy sack in his dry suit, and when he got to Bella Bella, I think he ate 3 cheeseburgers in a row. An incredible guy who got really, he became one with this environment in a way that few people can, but I think many of us aspire to. Oh, it's so good to be back. I mean, it sounded like the pandemic was pretty chill up here, but like, if you didn't live in Ketchikan, you wanted to get to Ketchikan. So it's nice to be able to get back and bring this event and this community together again for something that, I don't know, these everyday heroes are just inspiring. And so it's fun. It's fun to be around them and lift them up and connect them with everyone around too. It's hard to know what future changes will bring. We tend to experiment, but we experiment with rules carefully. So this year, probably our biggest change to rules that we removed the Bella Bella waypoint. So after Victoria, traditionally teams would go anywhere they wanted to as long as they went through Seymour Narrows, and anywhere they wanted to as long as they went through Bella Bella. This year, we removed the Seymour Narrows waypoint, which means they could go on the outside of Vancouver Island, they could go farther inside through like Dent Narrows and Yakutha Rapids. And it's been interesting to watch that play out. And so far it's too soon to know what we're gonna keep and what we're gonna change. The teams that won went around the outside of Vancouver Island and sailed amazingly in better wind and less driftwood, which was at epic proportions this year down south, and took out, I think, 11 teams by hitting them with collisions at night. So interesting to see how this plays out. We're not really sure at this point, but stay tuned.
Okay, let's act like we're still friends.
Oh, that's honest.
Hell yeah! Thank you so much. This is a good welcome party.
Have a beer.
And then there's custom.
Yeah, it got pretty tense there at the end. We were way out in front, and then last night, yesterday afternoon, we took a look at got service from a cruise ship basically, and we were like, oh, we're only 20 miles ahead. Hard on the side. So that was no weather for the last 36 hours.
Yeah, there was no wind for a long. It was just totally becalmed, and so we started doing 30-minute pedal schedules, where you're on 30 minutes just pedaling and rowing too. We have two people pedaling and one person rowing, and then one person driving through the kelp, and it was a lot on.
We blasted across the channel last night though at like 8+ knots.
Yeah, we were
Crossing over the mouth between Haida Gwaii and whatever this island over here is. Middle of the night. Yeah, that was pretty rad.
So, but before that, Hecate Strait was really tough, and each of us had a shift where it was just, it seemed like it was okay, and then this rain would come, and it was a really heavy, cold rain, a squall, but it wouldn't bring wind, it would just bring a lull, and you would just sit there in no wind and a bunch of waves moving you around just in the cold, wet rain, just miserable. And then we both had a shift like that. Yes. And they did the last one, and then as soon as I took the tiller, 7 knots, just zooming straight north. It was great.
You guys going outside next year?
Next year.
Well, we went outside this year.
We went outside this year.
It was great.
It's definitely the route to go to win. Depends on the weather.
It does depend on the weather.
Yeah, although going west in the Hecate Strait versus east, it's tough to say. I think in the end it paid out to go west. We caught the wind faster than everybody else and got here sooner, but didn't look like that for a while.
Yeah, well done in the competition though. They're sailing really smart out there.
Yeah.
Did you hit anything? No, we didn't
Picked up kelp once.
a small amount of kelp. about it.
I wouldn't say that to your like fellow racer friends.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
We've decided to call dogs Dragon Slayers now. Too soon.
Coming today, Reese was driving, and there was a whole tree. It's probably 50 feet long, and yeah, if you were a trimaran going 12 knots and hit that thing, people would have gotten launched overboard. It was an adventure for sure. Type 2 fun, sometimes type 3 fun.
Awesome. Welcome guys. You did awesome. Yeah. Welcome to Ketchikan.
It's good to be here.
Yeah. I'm always shocked and impressed by this community because no matter how much it was raining or how much it's 2 in the morning, there's always someone down on the dock to welcome in the latest finisher, which is a great way if you're curious about the race. Show up, watch the tracker, show up, and when they're about to finish in Thomas Basin, right at the Baranoff fishing dock, and these people come up and they're just like pouring their stories out one after another, and it's inspiring, and they're humans, and sometimes they need help, and sometimes they need a friend. But regardless of what it is, there's this chance to make a human connection with some people who just did an amazing thing. And we always organize a couple different parties here at the Fish House to give away the steak knives and also the $10,000, usually nailed to a piece of firewood. Today, nailed to a piece of the building.